Whatever happened to good old-fashioned fun? We're so worried these days about offending and saying certain language and avoiding this and avoiding that we don't have fun anymore. Everything you do happens to be a message or a statement that you're making that has to be political or social or some form of retardation. I came across this post on Facebook. It is a magic trick. It is based on a classic of magic. The trick is relatively simple. You put a silk or a handkerchief on one sleeve of a participant. You put another silk or handkerchief on their other sleeve. You pull, and it happens to pull out a bra. Now, you can do this on a male participant. You can do this on a female participant. It's typically done in a situation where the audience knows that they're about to see something crass. And even then, it's the most PG sort of crass. Now, I'm not defending the trick. I think it's very cheesy, very corny, very tack. But in the right context, you do it in a bachelorette party, you do it in a situation where the audience knows that they're about to see something that's on the edgier side, it's a good trick. I'm not saying to bust it out in your next residency. Now, this post on Facebook is in regards to a variation for that trick with a pair of tighty-whities. You put a silk here, you put a silk here, you pull it, and in the middle there's a pair of tighty-whities. Context seems to be something avoided by people who are perpetually offended. And the truth of the matter is that magicians are retarded, and they would perform something like this without caring about the context. They would probably end up doing it in a kid's show, some of them. But those you have to ignore, because those guys are just retarded. Most well-intelligent magicians are going to understand that a trick like this is to be performed in the right context. You have a bachelorette party, you have a party with a bunch of dudes that are drinking, and you do this and they're going to have a good time. You're not going to pick out the person in the audience who's in the back with his hands in his pocket looking nervous because he's around a crowd of people. You're going to pick the guy that's loud, that's abrasive, that might have actually said something during the context of the show. You're not humiliating him, it's all in good fun, but apparently you can't have a modicum of fun in 2023 without somebody, or 2024 now, without someone going, hey, be a little bit more considerate. And in this case, we have Richard Beatty saying this is not considered a fun trick and is not an underwear production. This is the other vulgar, tacky, and poor taste version of baffling bra. It's a 20th century silk routine. It's an embarrassing, humiliating trick to do to any volunteer. You should toss it and do the regular 20th century silk. There's other great silk magic to learn instead of the vulgarity, Sladini's sympathetic silks, and more currently, Jeff McBride's Bicos. Just my opinion, but I'm sure other magic would agree. Then there's the whole back and forth. Glenn West chimes in saying this is a terrible trick that treats your volunteers a prop and dehumanizes them. Dehumanizes them. We're using such ridiculous language to talk about a trick. Check out the PigCake Magic Academy, the home of over 1,500 videos going over card stuff, coin stuff, everything you need to become a worse person. Now notice, I didn't say a worse magician. You're going to become the best magician. But in becoming a good magician, you're becoming a worse person. So do consider that when you join the PigCake Magic Academy. But it's all for the low cost of a White Claw a month. Just one White Claw a month is what you're paying to get access to all this content. Travis Knoll comes here and says, it's about knowing your audience. I knew my audience very, very well. And that's really what it is. It's knowing your audience, is knowing the context. As I mentioned earlier, some magicians are dumb. They're going to perform this for a crowd of people. They're going to perform this in a kid's show. They're going to perform this in a wrong situation for this particular trick. Context is everything, and you can't ignore context just because you don't want to feel a little bit bad or offended. You're always going to have a debate like this, and yes, this trick could be painfully tacky. I understand that. But in the right context, it would work. That's all I'm saying. It starts with a trick, and then it moves on to language, and then it becomes a whole thing because now I'm telling you what you can and can't say, and it's not a fun thing. I think there's a situation for everything, and in this case, this trick, there's a great situation for it somewhere. So don't dismiss it just because you have an audience of they, thems. Some advice at the end of the video. I recently bought a flashlight on Temu.com. I'm kind of a fan of Temu, even though they probably take all your information and sell it to people and then they spam call you. I bought a little flashlight on Temu. Notice the size of this. It's about the size of a small pinky. It's great. It fits in a wallet. It's very, very portable. Now, I wanted another one of these for another wallet that I have. A wallet where in case maybe I'm going on my motorcycle, I want to be able to have that one because it has a multi-tool and whatever, and my bike happens to break down quite often, so I want to get a smaller flashlight for that one as well. Well, I ordered a flashlight, and this is what I got. This right here is what I got. You could see there's kind of a big size difference there, even though the pictures look the same. So I guess the bit of advice at the end of the video here is to always be mindful as to the dimensions of things when you're buying things like a flashlight, because, well, and I mean,
I see you again, when 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 I see you again.